Dear students, in the previous session we are already over with the chemical changes, chemical reaction, chemical equations, balancing chemical equations, and inferences which help us to know that uh, the chemical reaction have taken place or not, and some types of reaction, that is combination and decomposition reaction. Now here we start from displacement reaction. So the chemical reaction in which more reactive element displaces less reactive element from its salt solution is called displacement reaction. You can see here in the example that when iron reacts with copper sulfate solution, it forms its own salt solution, that is ferrous sulfate solution, and copper is displaced. So here iron displaces copper because copper is more reactive than iron. You can see the setup of the activity we can do is there is a test tube in which there is copper sulfate solution which is of blue color, and iron nails are dipped in it. These iron nails, when react with the copper sulfate solution, they displaces the copper and forms its own salt solution which is of dirty green color. Okay, and a brown flaky layer is formed over the nail which is of copper. Okay, so you can see here the iron nail become brownish in color by deposition of copper, and blue color of copper sulfate changes to dirty green color due to formation of ferrous sulfate. We can go for one more example, that zinc react with copper sulfate solution to form zinc sulfate solution and copper. Here also you can see zinc is more reactive than copper, and it displaces copper to form zinc sulfate solution and copper, because here zinc is more reactive than copper. Clear? In the same way we can take many more example. Lead react with copper chloride to form lead chloride and copper. But whenever the reaction go in the reverse process, that is, if you react copper with zinc sulfate, then no reaction will take place because copper cannot displace zinc, as copper is less reactive than zinc. So for this we should have to remember the reactivity series. Okay, so in the reactivity series we know about the reactive and less reactive metals. Uh, so we can judge that which metal can displace which metal according to the reactivity series. Now we come to the next type of reaction, that is double displacement reaction. A reaction in which a new compound is formed by mutual exchange of ions between two compounds is called double displacement reaction. That is, in this type of reaction, exchange of ions take place between the reactant. You can see in the example here, sodium sulfate react with barium chloride to form barium sulfate and sodium chloride. So here the sodium of sodium sulfate combined with chlorine of barium chloride to form sodium chloride, and barium of barium chloride combined with sulfate of sodium sulfate to form barium sulfate. So overall we can see here that the exchange of ions have taken place between the reactant to form the new products with new properties. Okay, so this type of reaction is called double displacement reaction. Here in the above reaction they have indicated that a white PPT is formed. So in double displacement reaction you can see in the above example that the barium sulfate formed is of white color. It is a precipitate which settles down. It is an insoluble substance. So this reaction can also be called as precipitation reaction. So white PPT of barium sulfate formed, and so it is also called precipitation reaction. But you should keep in mind that every double displacement reaction is not a precipitation reaction. Okay, suppose sodium hydroxide react with hydrochloric acid, then sodium chloride and water is formed. So in this reaction there is no precipitate formed. Okay, now we come to the last type of reaction here in this chapter, that is oxidation and reduction reaction. These reactions in which both process take place is also called redox reaction. Okay, so first of all, before proceeding, we should know about the conditions of oxidation and reduction. So the first condition of oxidation is addition of oxygen to reactant. So whenever addition of oxygen take place, then we say that oxidation have taken place. Or the second condition is removal of hydrogen from a reactant. So whenever hydrogen is removed, we say that oxidation have taken place. So for oxidation there are two conditions: addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen. You can see the example here. Carbon react with oxygen, or we can say carbon when heated in presence of oxygen form carbon dioxide. So it is a combination reaction as well as oxidation reaction, because oxygen is getting added to carbon. In the other example, next example, you can see brown copper. Copper is a metal of brown color. Brown copper react with oxygen in presence of heat to form black copper oxide. Copper oxide is black in color. Okay, so this is a oxidation process taking place here, as copper is getting oxidized by addition of oxygen. Now copper oxide, when heated with hydrogen gas, again form copper and water molecule. Clear? So copper oxide react with what? Hydrogen gas to form copper and water. In this reaction you can see copper oxide is removing oxygen from it to form copper. So this process is reduction, and the oxygen is getting added to hydrogen. So hydrogen has oxidized to form water molecule. Clear? Now the second is reduction. The condition for reduction is the addition of hydrogen to reactant or removal of oxygen from the reactant. So whenever addition of hydrogen take place, we say reduction have taken place. Whenever removal of oxygen take place, then also we say that reduction have taken place. So these are the two processes or two conditions for reduction. You can see in the reaction here again that copper oxide when react with hydrogen in presence of heat form copper and water. Clear? So copper oxide get reduced to form copper because oxygen is getting removed from copper, and on the other hand oxygen is getting added to hydrogen to form water, so it is called oxidation. One more thing you should know, that the substance oxidized is called reducing agent. So here hydrogen is getting oxidized by addition of hydrogen, so it is a reducing agent because it is helping copper oxide to get reduced. On the other hand, copper oxide is getting reduced to form copper, so it is a oxidizing agent because it is helping hydrogen to get oxidized by giving oxygen. So copper oxide is oxidizing agent and hydrogen is reducing agent. This you should understand. In this reaction, copper oxide is reduced to copper and hydrogen is oxidized to water. So oxidation and reduction take place together, and this is called redox reaction. So again I am repeating, the reaction in which both reduction and oxidation take place side by side are called redox reactions. Clear? So now we proceed to the effects of oxidation in daily life, that how the process of oxidation affect in our daily life. First point here for discussion is corrosion. First of all, we should understand what is corrosion. Okay, so whenever any metal is exposed to air and water or acids or moisture or air, actually moisture and air both should be there for corrosion process. You can take an example of rusting. The rusting do not take place in only presence of one condition, that is air or moisture. They should both be together for rusting. Now so the process of oxidation or the process of deterioration, spoiling or damaging of metal when it comes in contact with air and water or acids is called corrosion. Again, according to the content given here, when a metal is exposed to moisture, air, acid, etc., for some time, a layer of hydrated oxide is formed which weakens the metal, and hence metal is said to be corroded. Second point, rusting of iron, black coating on silver and green coating on copper are examples of corrosion. Rusting of iron takes place in presence of both air and water. Black coating on silver takes place due to the reaction of silver with sulfur as silver sulfide is formed. This process is also called as tarnishing of silver. Okay. A green coating on copper formed is of basic copper carbonate. It takes place due to the reaction of copper with moist carbon dioxide. Clear? So these are some examples of corrosion of metal. Now we come to the third point. Corrosion can be prevented by galvanization, electroplating, or by putting paints. That is, these all help to break the contact of metal with the environment or air. Okay. So, and on the other hand, galvanization is the process of putting a layer of zinc over other metal. Okay. So now we come to rancidity. It is the process of spoiling of any food containing fats and oils when they are exposed to air. As the fats and oil get oxidized, the food become rancid as its taste and smell changes. So the oxidation of fat and oil when exposed to air is known as rancidity. It leads to bad smell and bad taste of food. How can we prevent rancidity? The rancidity can be prevented, number one, by adding antioxidants such as nitrogen and keeping food in airtight containers. Third, by replacing air by nitrogen, this I have just now told. And the last one is refrigeration. Clear? So these are some methods to prevent rancidity. So this was all about the chapter, and you are to go through the content again and revise it, memorize it. Okay, thank you very much.